Hey, Andrew.
Yes, Ryan.
Just so you know, I'm going to be updating the terms of use for this podcast. From now on, everyone who subscribes to this podcast will have to forfeit over their banking information, contact information, business information, and all their porn interests. And your dignity.
Wait, they downloaded this podcast. They don't have dignity.
Neither do we. Welcome back to the Explosion of Happiness, episode number 44. It is August 3rd, 2016. I am your host, Ryan.
And I am your other host, Andrew. And in this weekly podcast, we talk about video games, as well as the hype that surrounds it. Before that, Ryan, did you play anything this week?
I'm trying my hardest to not be a piece of shit anymore.
Oh!
I set out to play Super Metroid so I could be no longer a piece of shit.
I'm very proud of you. And yeah, you showed me the setup that you got going. I really like that little clip that you have for your PlayStation remote that just hooks right onto your cell phone. I think it was comfortable, it played well.
Yeah, I think I've talked about it in a previous podcast when I bought it, but This is the first game I've never played before that I'm using it for to get the full experience from, and I'm very pleased with it. If anyone owns a Sony Xperia and you like to emulate with it, I can't recommend enough the whatever the fuck the thing is called. Just Google Clip for DualShock 4 and Android phone, and you'll probably find it. It's like a little suction cup thing, but it's amazing for emulating on your cell phone. It lets you use a DualShock 4 for perfect emulation.
Yeah. So what do you think of the actual game?
Well, obviously, it's horribly outdated. It's a total monumental, overrated piece of shit. The game doesn't hold your hand at all, which is a very serious problem because I don't know what I'm supposed to do in it. The level design is just all over the place. There's like no direction whatsoever. There's not even really a story. It doesn't tell you anything. There's no lines of dialogue. It's like I'm just supposed to know what's going on or something. Anyway, I just find it very insulting because it's almost like the game doesn't want to give me any help at all like games are supposed to now. I'm very offended that I'm playing as a woman because I don't know how to relate to that. I'm not a woman, so, fuck me. I wish it would give me a choice. Yeah, it's also punishingly difficult. Well, not punishingly difficult. I mean, I've actually got a couple game overs, and that's totally fucked up. That's not supposed to happen. Games are supposed to make me feel good. I'm not supposed to have to try to win. So what I'm saying is Super Metroid is a gigantic piece of shit that needs to be left in history.
I don't even have it. That's too good. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, honestly, it's a great game. I really wish I played it as a kid. I'd probably be in love with it. I don't know where I would rank it in terms of like favorite games of all time, but I can definitely see why it's considered that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say, like, overall where it ranks. Very easy for me to say top 5 out of the Nintendo games.
I will say I don't think it holds up as timelessly as people think, but I kind of also thought that about A Link to the Past. I mean, the only thing that really irritates me about Super Metroid is having to hit the select button to scroll through all the weapons whenever you're, like, in a pinch. Yeah. But that's sort of designed in the game. Other than that, like, even the really tricky platforming sequences, I don't really have a problem with them. I guess someone could complain about that, but...
Where are you in the game?
I just got the space jump. The space boot.
I remember the first time I got this game, and I put it in my Super Nintendo, and I turned it on. Game just, immediately starts up. And there's like it's just one line of spoken dialogue, but it's actually voice acted or synthesized.
Yeah.
And as soon as the game talked to me, I remember freaking the fuck out and running up to my dad and screaming, "My game's talking to me, my game is talking to me."
Oh.
Yeah.
This is adorable.
Yeah, I look forward to your opinion when you beat it, because, I mean, it's a great game.
I guess we could talk more about other Metroid games, because playing through Super Metroid has made me want to go back and replay Metroid Fusion and sort of compare the two now that I've...
Metroid Fusion, in my opinion, is just like...
I know a lot of people really hate it, and now that I play Super Metroid, I can kind of see why people hate it. Even though I think it's kind of an overreaction by a lot of people, but it is very obvious. It was a little more handholdy, there was actual dialogue. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it just seemed like it was a more simplified version of Super Metroid, but it's almost the same exact game if you forgive it for those things, which... I mean, did you ever finish Metroid Fusion?
Yeah, I beat Metroid Fusion.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure. So I was going to say if you've been...
I've beaten every single Metroid except for... Well, 2D Metroid, except for Metroid 2.
Okay. I also got to say, it might just be because I played Metroid Prime back in its actual day. I honestly feel like I think Metroid Prime is a better game, but that's a game I think I actually want to replay after I finish Super Metroid, and then if you play it for the first time, then I think that would be a really juicy debate.
About which is better?
I mean, Metroid Prime versus Super Metroid. Yeah. Because I think there's honestly just a lot of personal preference involved, but it's very common to just universally say, no, Prime is good, but it's nothing compared to the original. I honestly think there's more to Prime than that. But, like I said...
Yeah, I just need to figure out how to play Prime, and I will.
Yeah. It would be really great if, they put the fucking trilogy on the Wii U or the NX or something.
Right. Well, I was just thinking, too, they haven't remade Return of Samus, Metroid 2. It's only come out for the original Game Boy. And I also had that game. And playing that was a bunch of horsecock. Now, again, I was like 6 or 7 at the time. But it's a Game Boy, so there's no color. Everything looks the same. And the planet it takes place on... SR388 is fucking huge. It is massive. And the entire objective of the game is to track down all these Metroids. Like, you got a little counter in the bottom right corner. And as you kill more, like, the path opens up. Like, lava will lower and shit. So you can go deeper into the planet. But there's no, like... I don't remember there being a map. Everything fucking looks the same. It's mostly just wander around aimlessly, trying out new shit. I remember just being incredibly frustrated with it.
I did actually look at the overlay of the map from Metroid 2 and was like, holy shit. This is a fucking Game Boy game. This is fucking huge.
Yeah, it's...
I think it'd be fun to watch you play that and offer some commentary while you frustratedly try to beat that Metroid game.
Okay, that sounds great, because like I said, this is the only 2D Metroid game I haven't played.
Do you know how long it would be? I mean, I could have like a guide open for when you get stuck or something, or we could just excessively watch you beat your head against the wall and start screaming about how much you hate things.
I'm an adult now, and with these kind of games, the average for a Metroidvania game, I'd say, is about 10 hours. But knowing how much of a giant piece of shit this is and how terrible I would probably be at it, I'm willing to say 20. It'd probably take me like a good 20 hours with no guides, with no maps. Holy fuck, I just looked at the map. Yeah, this is... Oh my god. This is bigger than Axiom Verge. This is bigger than Super Metroid. Just Jesus fucking Christ.
Yep.
On a Game Boy.
Yep. Impressive. I want to see you conquer it, and then I want to watch and go, thank God I'm not playing this. Is it still fun, though?
Oh, yeah, it's still fun. It's still Metroid. It's just... I'm sure you've gotten stuck in Super Metroid, but you probably get stuck for like 5 minutes, and like those 5 minutes can be kind of frustrating, right? Just...
well,
change
usually
that to like 50 minutes.
There were 2 moments I got stuck, and it's like you basically just go exploring for a long time and find a ton of shit until you get to a point where I'm like, okay, no, I really have no idea where I'm supposed to go. You just got to have a good memory. This environment has water. This environment has fire. This environment has this weird thing out of place, or this pitfall. Like, one thing I regret as I played through Super Metroid was that I wasn't paying very close attention to a lot of things.
Early on, stuff isn't that cleverly hidden.
Right.
Later on in the game, though, there's certain like minor power-ups that you don't need, just like 5 extra missiles and stuff that are really fucking hidden away. Like, you have to freeze enemies to make platforms right up against the wall and then missile this one specific point kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Just so you can grab a 5 extra missile pack, which, again, isn't necessary, but if you want 100% the game.
The part of the game where you like fall down a pit and then you're like, how the fuck do I get out of here? And you find that ostrich that basically shows you how to do the super jump. I almost did it myself. That was like the biggest oh shit moment in this entire game. Like, I had no idea I could do this, and this is awesome.
Yeah, there's a similar pit with the gremlins that teach you how to wall jump.
Yeah, I found that one too.
Like, everybody that talks about video game design always, that's something they bring up from Super Metroid, is like a tutorial without text, teaching by showing kind of thing. Yeah. Another big one is like Mega Man X that kind of does that too, and it's just like, it's cool and really smart when games do that, and I appreciate it instead of the stupid car that drives by with the loud fucking engine.
Yeah.
Instead of like the 5-minute tutorial of going, Samus Aran, sprint and then press down to charge a super jump.
I'm wondering if Metroid Prime's first 20 minutes will frustrate you because it is kind of a tutorial, but it basically starts you off on a space station and it teaches you what you can do, and then shortly after that, in a traditional Metroid fashion, you lose all your powers and you start off on a planet, and basically it's just like that from there. But yes, I'm just curious to know how you will feel about how like the story and the atmosphere in Metroid Prime affects you, because I think they did a really good job of telling a story without ever speaking a word in that game.
Yeah, Super Metroid really doesn't have... It has a setting, it has like... Maybe you could say plot points. I wouldn't really say it has a story.
I was thinking while playing it also, if this game came out today, or a game like Metroid was like first created today, people would be calling it very Dark Souls-like. You notice how like every game that attempts to actually penalize you for losing is like Dark Souls-like now?
Yeah, I notice people say that, and to me, that's not what Dark Souls-like is. Dark Souls-like is punishing, but fair, not just challenging.
Oh, people
like there's a line.
Basically anything where you can fuck up and then lose something by fucking up is considered Dark Souls-y or something fucking dumb like that. I don't know. It's just a buzzword that There's a big infograph. I don't remember where I put it, where it just shows like fucking 100 different articles by major game journalists calling every single game with any challenging bits in it now very similar to Dark Souls.
Did you know that the original Ninja Gaiden for Nintendo was actually inspired by Dark Souls? It's very Dark Souls-like.
Oh, yeah. It actually ripped off Dark Souls. Yeah, no.
Yes, because the creator traveled forward in time using the Illuminati, time machine to play Dark Souls just so he could be inspired to make Ninja Gaiden. It's a well-known fact.
Kind of like how System Shock ripped off Dead Space.
Yes, exactly. And you couldn't be more correct.
Yeah.
And how Dead Space ripped off BioShock Infinite,
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anyway, you play anything else?
No, I think we can do news.
All right. Yeah, I played jack shit this week. I was going to bring this up really quick because I think it's funny.
Okay.
So Blizzard did another ban wave on Overwatch. And when they ban you, they permaban you. No warnings, nothing. You cheat, your account's gone. You're done for. Somebody went onto one of these cheat engine sites and they screen capped some of the most cringeworthy shit I've seen in a while to declaring that they're all out war with Blizzard and then asking for support by having to buy core coins.
Oh, God.
Literally, the post starts off with, "Listen up, you goofballs. We are at war with Blizzard." And it goes on to say, if you want to support our cause, you have to buy some core coins. If we get enough users buying core coins, the site will grow, and we'll be able to hire agents with this that can help protect us. Maybe in a court battle eventually. Buy core coins.
There are so many things I could say about this, I don't even know what to say.
Another post goes on to say, can we make a petition or something? I deserve another chance if I spent extra to buy the pre-order edition. This is unacceptable. It's 2016. Cheating happens. A slip on the wrist is always better than lynching the person.
Not if you're me and I say just lynch the person.
This one's extra nice because it's posted all in Comic Sans. Wow. Blizzard really again? Bandwave? What the fuck is your problem, Blizzard? Just leave us alone. We aren't even destroying the server. Now my brother is going to kill me.
Nice.
Yeah. So it just kind of
So anyone over the age of 13 here?
Yeah, right. It just kind of confirms my opinion of like the people that do this shit are so ignorant of what they're doing. Like they're willing to lie to themselves to the point that it's okay.
Yeah.
That this is their reaction to getting banned for cheating. Like really, you're fucking cheating. Own up to it. And then my favorite is somebody saying, "Wow, thanks Blizzard. Banned yet again. Guess I'll just go back to Counter-Strike Go."
Oh yeah, okay. Cheat in that. Well, that's okay. Everyone cheats in that. I was okay with that. Yeah, I don't really feel like I should need to say anything about that, nor do I really want to, because it's just, if you're going to cheat, expect to get banned.
Yep.
I can't believe that there's actually a large number of people who turn themselves into victims over deciding to cheat. It's not my fault. I have a physical disability. I need these hacks to play at the same level as others. Okay, well, ask Blizzard to make a special mode for you.
There was actually a post that was like that, where a guy's like, I have to smoke a shit ton of pot every day. And I can't play this game good when I smoke this much weed. So I need the cheat engines. It's like, wow, maybe you just shouldn't play this game then.
It's truly the best examples of humanity. Man, you should link me to this. I might want to read some of these. They sound funny.
All right. Yeah, there's like 27, 28 of these screen caps, so I'm not going to sit here and read every one of them.
I just kind of want to glance at them, just to see a wall of whiny bitches being whiny bitches. What's anyone like, this isn't fair, I wasn't cheating and I got banned anyway.
Pretty much everybody is admitting that they're banning because they're or cheating, I should say, because they're on the forums for the cheat engine. They're just acting like they shouldn't be banned for cheating, that it's perfectly okay.
Yeah. Sadly, I am banned. These mortals have angered me for the last time. Blizzard will feel my wrath. Oh my. He might have a katana. He might come after them. Also wearing a fedora. Listen up, you goofballs. We are at war. Oh god, yeah, this is the one you read. Jesus fucking Christ. They actually expect me to buy another copy. Fucking Jew bastards. Really shows how shady these business practices have become. And yes, I'm mad. Shady business practices. They have the audacity to expect their players to not cheat. Goddamn.
Blizzard, you made a powerful enemy. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Is that real? Is that real? Oh my god.
What's funny is Blizzard did get DDoS'd yesterday, and a lot of people were saying it's because of these ban waves. So, congrats. That's your magic trick that you got there, is to pay for a botnet.
I really just don't care about competitive multiplayer anymore. This is part of the reason why.
Yeah, this is exactly...
The older I get, the more I just want to leave this shit in the past. It just seems like its communities are getting worse. I guess I kind of just always, my entire life, my entire gaming life, while I play multiplayer games and encounter hackers, I always assume these are people who are just hacking just to piss other people off and they know they're going to get banned. But now I realize there are actual people out there who think they're going to cheat and get away with it, and it's going to be okay. And they reserve the right to get mad when they get banned. That's really sad. Next story.
Next story.
I was going to bring up this Overwatch Summer Games thing, but I guess it's just a bunch of loot bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset about that because there's like loot boxes that you can only get from leveling up. It's like exclusive summer loot boxes. Yep. And the things within them, you can't use the in-game currency that people have been saving up for to buy them.
Oh,
so you have to find them. So people are upset just saying this basically is encouraging people to use microtransactions, which, yeah guess what? Of course Blizzard wants you to pay money.
That's going to happen. Anyone who ever says they're not going to do that with these kind of systems, of course they are.
And also, the other side of this, you don't need any of this shit, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Bitch and whine all you want, stamp your feet. You still have access to every fucking game mode. You have access to every map. Additional maps, completely for free. You get additional characters like Ana. You get game modes, they fucking Lucio Ball. We get all that shit for free. Just because people want to buy loot boxes so they can look super kawaii. Oh, I need my Tracer skin. It's like, yeah, okay, then fucking spend all your money on a fucking cosmetic effect? I don't give a shit, motherfucker. I just want to play the fucking game. I guess my enjoyment is tied zero to what my skins look like, so whatever.
I like to obsess over useless garbage, and now I'm finding a reason to realize why it's useless garbage, but I'm going to get mad anyway, because I want my useless garbage.
Yep. Yeah. And, I mean, fucking Final Fantasy XIV did something similar where they made a new, somewhat custom mount. It's unique looking, and a lot of people like it, but then instead of putting it into the game as a way to actually get it, they put it up on their website. You have dollars to get it. And a lot of people are really upset and stamping their feet. I am upset by it because I want that mount, but I'm not going to spend $30 on it, and I'm not going to sit here and bitch about it either. You don't need it.
My advice to anyone who cares about this stuff is stop. Realize how little actually affects. Realize that the actual gameplay is what you should care about. Mm-hmm. And if these artificial skins, if you're surrounded by people who obsess over these things and want you to obsess over them too, cut them from your life because they're mentally retarded and will lead you to a bad end.
Right. And I think the most important thing to remember with anything like this where you have these microtransactions, you need to weigh the cost-benefit ratio, and you also need to realize eventually you will stop playing this game. You will move on. You will find something else.
Well,
so just
hopefully.
like everything in gaming, this is fleeting.
Well, Overwatch is the big thing right now. Everyone is playing it. I'm
they are.
Kind of happy I'm not, because I'm just avoiding a lot of stress.
Avoiding a lot of fucking morons. Anyway, next news story.
Okay, how about Frontwire Studios, the developer making that Battlefront 3 mod, was forced to remove the Star Wars assets from their games, and now they're just making their own original IP. We both fucking called this, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we brought it up in a previous podcast. We both said that this would happen, and we both came to the same conclusion. The developers knew this was going to happen. They wanted this to happen so they would get free publicity. If they just made their own IP, nobody would hear about them. Nobody would know that this story is going on, that this game is in development. They specifically went out of their way to say, we're making Battlefront 3, we're using Star Wars stuff, so that news outlets would report on them and give them free fucking marketing.
Well, I'm sure they would have still gotten some attention just by spreading word. We're making a Battlefront-like game. By just having straight-up Star Wars, it immediately got all this attention. And now, like, they're going to continue to be reported on by, I'm reading this from TechRaptor, but I've seen them on fucking actual big sites. Even like Kotaku and stuff have been reporting on this mod. Their game is going to continue to get coverage now, whether it's anything even resembling Battlefront or not. So they succeeded. And they're claiming it's still going to come out for free. And, one might hope maybe they'll just allow people to mod Star Wars skins into it. That might be a secret backdoor way to still put out a Battlefront 3 game. But I gotta say, I would not be surprised if they turn around at some point and say, no, actually, we're making something totally new. It's going to actually cost money, but don't worry, we got our own ideas in this, and yeah.
Or put in some form of monetization or something, you know, payable for skins or whatever.
The original concept of what Battlefront was going to be was incredible, and if they still intend to make that game, I'll still look forward to it and await it until release, but I'm sure this was all foreseen and planned by them.
I pretty much only glanced at the news article. I didn't read anybody's comments or anything. I have to ask, are people actually upset that this is happening? Are people like, oh, fuck you, EA, fuck you, Disney?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, people are saying, oh, there goes EA doing what they do. Well, yeah, of course they're doing what they're going to do. And it is kind of fucked up because they don't want a third-party app, tampering with one of their IPs. They don't want to tamper with the Star Wars image, or They specifically said they don't want a developer to make a potentially better game than their Battlefront franchise, which is the same reason Gearbox shut down that Duke Nukem mod. But at the very least, why not just pick them up and you don't have to fund them or anything, but you can still let them try to make a game. If it beats a certain bar of quality and it gets well received, you can put it up on Origin and charge people for it because you're EA and you love to do that. It'd basically be free money for you. Why not? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, another aspect that should be brought up is that this is regarding, IP law and copyright law, trademark law, whatever. That shit is really deep and complex, and most people don't understand it. And I'm not going to claim that I understand it. I just want to point out something I've heard, in that you have to defend every infringement against your IP to keep up your copyright and trademark. And because once you let somebody have free access to it and you don't do anything while you know about it, that sets up precedent that other people will then be allowed to come in and make their own shit. So
yeah. I did, in the article I read on Tech Raptor, it did state that basically Frontwire's lawyer was like, yeah, we don't stand a chance. EA Disney will fucking destroy us in the court.
Yeah, it sucks, but this is the plus it's fucking Disney that owns Star Wars now. They don't let any of this shit fly, ever. So, no, it shouldn't be really surprising to anybody. But yeah, I still look forward to the game, though. I bet the game could be super fun.
Yeah, it's like the idea of getting Starship, fly through planet atmosphere into space, into a space carrier and combat on the ship. Yeah, sounds cool. I don't know how big this team is or if that's really going to turn out great, but we can, wait and see. Maybe they'll pick up more people or open up crowdfunding or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if, a week from now, they have crowdfunding. Because now, technically, they can have crowdfunding.
Yep.
And then they could be like, if you crowdfund us, you'll get access to special skins.
Yeah, hopefully they know that if they start doing that shit, then their audience is just going to immediately turn their backs on them, because that seems to be what always happens. I mean, I'm kind of wearing a tinfoil hat here by saying they probably planned all this. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they genuinely just want to make a Battlefront 3 mod. Maybe they still will. It just seems very oddly, conveniently win-win for them, no matter what outcome.
They have a lawyer. There's no way their lawyer never once said, unless they literally got him yesterday, that he didn't go, so guys, you're going to get butt-fucked here, right?
Yeah. Well, I would think if you really wanted to make something like this, you don't make a big announcement and draw a bunch of attention to yourself. You just do it and put it out. But all these mod teams like Project M and all this kind of stuff, it's like they get all these huge followings, they get all this media attention, and they start basically turning into businesses with other IPs, and that's why they always get shut down. Mm-hmm. If you really want to make a mod for something, do it behind closed doors and don't announce it until it's ready to go. That way, yeah, and just slip it out on a torrent or something.
Exactly. And then when you release it with all the fury that you can, so a ton of people hear about it, completely DR-free, and encourage people to rehost it and do it as anonymously as possible. And then feign complete ignorance that you're breaking any laws.
Yep.
I'm not a lawyer, though, so if you get fucked from doing that, don't take my advice.
I'm sure someone out there will personally single you out on this podcast.
Yep.
And I will...
and then I will go into debt.
Yep.
What's funny is, I specifically remember the first time that something like this happened was somebody was creating a 3D remake of Chrono Trigger. This was early, I think it was 2004, 2005.
I think you've mentioned this on the podcast before.
Yeah, and it just got taken down, and I was upset at the time, Square Enix, why would you do that? But it also really tempered my expectations. So now whenever I see somebody announce anything that infringes on anybody's IP, this is my first thought. It's going to be taken down. Don't get your hopes up. All right. So Reggie was interviewed after E3.
Okay.
And he kind of came off a little bit like a pompous asshole.
What did he say?
The interviewer asked, how do you take criticism of graphics and gameplay on Star Fox? We believe that our development team creates content of great quality, and the developers have the right to make the decisions they seem correct, like how to control characters and game mechanics. There are people who love the decisions we take and people who don't. We believe that if we take the decisions we do, it's because we offer the best content, and history proves us right. People look for fun, not teraflops of power or graphical fidelity.
Okay. I mean, I get what he's saying there in general terms, but if he's applying it to Star Fox, he's wrong objectively.
Yeah, the question was specifically about Star Fox.
I'm sure anyone who sat down in one of these testing rooms for hours and hours and hours every day of their life testing the game, probably got so used to it that it would just be second nature to them. But that control scheme in that game was just completely unfitting for the style of game it was. I've said this in that episode 2 weeks ago. Shigeru Miyamoto was interviewed by someone, I don't remember who, but they asked him, what's your opinion on all the negative scores that Star Fox Zero was getting? And I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said something along the lines of, I think people were selling it too short. They should have tried to understand the controls better, or they didn't really try to see it for what it was, or something like that.
I think you said it best. Like, you can have complex controls if you're going to have like a 40-hour campaign.
Yeah.
And you get like used to the controls, even if it takes you 10 hours, you're still going to play the game for a shit ton.
If you're going to have the content to back up the time it takes to get used to those controls, yeah.
Yeah, but if it's going to be a 3-hour arcade shooter, you need intuitive controls. Reggie also goes on when they ask him, how can the NX satisfy or regain the fans? Reggie replied with, I don't think we've lost the trust of our fans. No,
they haven't lost the trust, but that doesn't mean that they won't.
I'd actually say that they've lost the trust of their fans.
They've lost
with shit like just the Wii U in general, Paper Mario, the newer ones, and like Star Fox. I don't blame people for being really hesitant about the future, especially when they're fucking so secretive about the NX.
People who adopted the Wii U, such as myself, I would say are in the hardcore fan category. I think they will always have that bubble of hardcore fans, but that's not enough to keep your company afloat as a major hardware manufacturer. It's the casual audience of gamers they need to win back. Esports, Twitch, MLG Pro, Skyrim is the best game ever. Those are the fans that hated the Wii U. Those are the people that they want to win back. They'll probably win them back with Zelda.
Yeah, I think Zelda will be great.
I don't know. I just think the NX would have to be really fucking disastrous for the same people who bought Wii U's to totally disregard that. Although I have seen a lot of hate on like Twitter and stuff when they announced that, Zelda was going to be coming out simultaneously on the NX and the Wii U. There were a lot of people claiming to own Wii U saying that they're pissed and are never buying Nintendo products again. So maybe I'm wrong. I just thought that the people who bought Wii U's just really like Nintendo games and will continue to. But only time will tell.
I will say now that in hindsight, the Wii U has the best like exclusives for it.
Yeah,
it has a lot of really good games, and once you add in Zelda, I think it'll be a pretty well-rounded console. But definitely upon release, it took a while to get there, and on release, it was just not well supported, not well advertised. I feel like, and that's what hurt them the most.
Yeah. And this is kind of spiraling into a conversation about the NX. I just feel like people who adopt Xboxes and PlayStation, they use these hardwares for more than just games. They use them as Netflix devices, social devices. I don't think Nintendo should market to that crowd. So I think what they're doing with the NX is the right idea to just dominate the portable market with something that's very convenient and can still produce good games, and just focus on that without trying to just make another hardware box to compete with the Xbox One and the PS4. All I can say, yeah, Reggie, whatever, man. You do that PR, but Star Fox Zero was disappointing, whether you want to admit it or not.
Right. Well, there's other little bits in the article that kind of make me not appreciate what Reggie's trying to say here, which, like, they were talking about Splatoon, and then the interviewer asked, what was Nintendo's last successful franchise? Reggie replied with Splatoon last year. And the interview says, a franchise other than Splatoon. People are saying that it feels like you rely on Zelda and Mario too much. Reggie replies with, were you expecting Super Mario Maker? Maybe not. Implying that Super Mario Maker was a new franchise, which kind of like totally disregarding the guy's question in the first place.
I don't really see why Splatoon is a bad answer.
I think what the interviewer is trying to get at is, why aren't you making more new IPs?
Sony and Microsoft just now started making a bunch of new IPs. It took them fucking years to get around to it.
Yeah.
Microsoft's got a whole bunch. They got Recore and Scalebound and Sea of Thieves, and Sony's got that fucking Guerrilla game and a bunch of other shit. I feel like press kind of chokehold Nintendo for things that they don't really go after other companies for a lot.
Well, I think they don't go after other companies for that shit because other companies have, specifically Microsoft and Sony have the third-party support like Nintendo doesn't.
The thing about Nintendo, though, they often get criticized for, shelling out Mario, Zelda, all their major IPs. But the thing is, they usually try to do something really unique with those IPs every time they put out a new game. Like, every 3D Mario platformer had something dramatically different from the last one. It wasn't until they started doing the new Super Mario Brothers series that was like a total rehash 4 times in a row. But even, like, you could say Pokken Tournament relies on a Pokemon IP, but look at that game. It's something completely new. So,
yeah.
I guess what I like about Nintendo is, sure, they keep reusing their same IPs, but they always make new kinds of games with those IPs, which is totally fine in my eyes. I do wish they made more original IPs like Splatoon, but still, I think they get too much of a hard time.
Yeah,
compared to like Gears of War 4, Halo 5, and Killzone, fucking whatever. It's just other platforms have reoccurring series that are just basically the same thing over and over with minor differences, whereas Nintendo tend to reach a lot farther and go the extra mile to make their games newer, even when they reiterate. So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yep. I think we pretty much covered that.
Right. Okay, so we got 10 minutes till 11. I say we go into the... Should I just do the Microsoft shit first? Because I could probably whip through it. And
Yes,
then we could
let's do that.
All right.
Holy fuck! I can't believe this. This is outrageous. Screw them. We knew this was going to happen all along. I mean, why is anybody surprised? Sorry, I'm just...
Oh, yeah. Microsoft updated their services agreements. I guess this was July 15th that they put this up, but people are just now kind of starting to dig into it. To paraphrase, I could go into details, but basically what it looks like is if you use OneDrive, Hotmail, Windows Office, Skype, anything, regardless of your operating system, Microsoft is now going to be data mining your information from those applications. It says this is all going to be effective as of September 15th, 2016. The first two tabs, the first one being your privacy, the second one being your content, more or less says we can do whatever we want with this. Screw you. Deal with it. You can rate it for yourself.
I can't believe this is fucking legal.
Well, it's legal because you have to agree to use their apps. For this to not succeed, people have to not use them. They have to not hit the I agree check
but
marks.
just because it's in the agreement, it doesn't necessarily mean it's legal.
You know, I don't know. You might...
You could put in the agreement that you have to kill yourself if you use that. Yeah, and that's not legal.
I have heard that if you don't read a service agreement and you agree to it, that actually holds up some legal ground in court. You could just say, oh, I just checked the box. I didn't actually read it, because there's no way they can prove you actually read the service agreement.
I've heard that before, that when you click on those boxes, especially with the long agreements, that there's a certain expectancy of what's in the agreement. And if something absurd is in there, that there's no legal grounds that they would actually apply.
Well, I think what I also read was that if you didn't know, Cortana, Microsoft search engine that's built into every Windows 10 device and now coming to the Xbox One, you've had the choice to disable it. You're no longer going to have that choice pretty soon. It's going to be forced to be on. And this is one of the services that uses your information excessively. I'm told Cortana is a total piece of shit, too. I think I played around with it a bit, and it didn't seem like it was very good. It also likes to shill Microsoft products like crazy. But that gets me to the other thing that they're going to be changing. Now, I got to be very specific, because it's not all distributions of Windows 10, but it looks like Windows 10 Professional Edition and I think Education Edition. Basically, Windows 10 Enterprise and Professional Editions are going to make it so that you can't disable advertisements.
Wait, aren't those the same versions that require you to pay a monthly fee?
Yes.
And you can't disable advertisements on them?
Correct.
What the fuck?
So the builds of Windows 10 that people are going to be using for, companies and their work.
Oh my God.
Microsoft removes policies from Windows 10 Pro. There's a chart here that says Microsoft published a new article on TechNet that confirms the policies related to tips and tricks and store suggestions cannot be disabled on Windows 10 Pro. So, yes. In other words, if you disable those already, they're going to come back. And even if you try to keep removing them, they're going to keep coming back. They're going to keep putting them in front of you. They're going to keep putting your advertisements in your face over and over again, no matter how many times you try to get them out of your face.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's funny because they just ended the free upgrade a week ago, and it's like I suspected, here it comes. Here comes the train of bullshit that they're going to hit everyone with. And I think they're just going to keep tacking more and more stuff onto it. Those applications I just listed where they're going to be data mining your information, the only one I actually use is OneDrive, and the only reason I use it is because the last external hard drive I bought came with 2 years of 200 gigabytes on OneDrive free. And I've been taking use of that, fully knowing that Microsoft is probably tracking all the things I put on it, and I'm more than happy to share all the porn I've been putting on it with them. But I think I'm going to probably try to merge away from that service if this is the kind of bullshit they're going to do, because there's a lot more into their terms of service I didn't even mention. Like, they actually have it written in where they're protected from legal repercussions. It basically...
That's illegal. That does not hold up. Flat out.
I think it's part 13, I think, on their terms of service. If something goes wrong, or they fuck something up, or your data goes out up into the open, basically they're only obligated to refund you whatever you paid that month for that service. And if you were not paying for that service, they're only obligated to refund you about $10 worth of whatever damages you received. But basically, if, say, you're working for a big company, your information goes out into some fucking server and becomes public information, you're fucked.
I know those things, those parts of contracts where it says they have limited liability or no liability when you're using this product, those don't hold up. But you have to be able to prove meaningful negligence, or I don't know if the word's meaningful, but you have to be able to prove negligence on their part or maliciousness on their part. So it can be hard to prove, but that really doesn't give them any actual legal ground. It's just
what I'm reading here is Part 13, Limitations of Liability. If you have any basis for recovering damages, including breach of these terms, you agree that your exclusive remedy is to recover from Microsoft or any affiliates, resellers, distributors, third-party apps and services providers, and vendors direct damages up to the amount or equal to your services fee for the month during which the breach occurred, or up to $10 if the services are free. You can't recover any other damages or losses, including direct, consequential, lost profits, special, indirect, incidental, or punitive.
Yeah, that with a good enough case, I don't believe that would hold up in court.
One of my paranoid fears was that even if you don't have Windows 10, they're going to start infecting all the shit that you currently got on their other OSs, and that's what they're doing.
And not only that, I wouldn't be surprised if they make Windows 8 and earlier versions shittier and shittier with updates, while having an ad in every single update about Windows 10.
Probably.
Because I know my fucking my tablet recently did an update. Before, it would last me like 2 fucking days before I need to charge it. Now I can like literally watch the power percentage, the battery charge go down. Like it lasts me like maybe 5-6 hours without needing to plug it in again. It's ridiculous.
We were getting conspiratorial last week about them doing that to Steam, and they may not do that to Steam, but they'll definitely do that to their own products. I don't have any trouble believing they will.
There's no way they won't do that to their own product. Yeah.
This is here like Windows 10, Microsoft Office, Skype, OneDrive, Bing, Hotmail, any of these services you have by them. Expect them to get really shitty real soon unless you're prepared for them to fuck you up the ass with something.
And also, I want to say that on the regards of the data mining, I'm not too worried about that on a personal level because I'm sure everybody has their weird, fucked up fetishes and kinks, and I doubt they're going to blackmail me because I don't have like a ton, you know.
Yeah.
The part that bugs me is like businesses and companies use that, and there's grounds for corporate espionage with this kind of data mining. That's really fucked up.
It is. That is probably the most fucked up thing about this whole thing. Whether or not they ever go after individuals with this information, there could definitely be some backdoor conspiring. Hey, we got some dirt on this company.
Or not even that, like if another tech company has ideas that they want to just straight up steal and use for their own.
I would hope enough companies out there put their foot down on this shit and refuse to use Windows products because of it. If there's a big enough backlash, they'll stop.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's why this is all very obscurely worded into their terms of service because they know most people won't read that shit. But I would hope companies and their legal departments would.
Yeah, I'd imagine that if you were a tech company now and you had something that could be useful for Microsoft, that you would start using another kind of notepad service or Skype-like service.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, that's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, let's keep the conspiracy chain rolling with Pokemon Go.
Sure.
People are fucking pissed off at Niantic. And I kind of am too. Mostly because Niantic has done a really fucking shitty job of communicating with their updates. They just roll out their updates with no kind of like patch notes.
Right.
And the most biggest obvious one is they recently, before if you played, you had the little step tracker. And at first it would show you 1, 2, or 3 or no footsteps to give you a rough idea of how far away Pokemon were. And it worked once you kind of figured out and you got used to it and learned the system a little bit. And it was nice to have. Then they disabled it so it always showed 3 steps, which was kind of pointless. And in the last update, they just flat out removed it with no word about why they removed it. Everybody for the longest time just thought it was a bug, and now it's just gone.
Right.
And people were incredibly annoyed at that, myself included. Not only that, this is a little bit more on the conspiracy theory side, but everywhere people are reporting that it's way harder to catch Pokemon with Pokeballs now.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's also, I pretty much stopped playing Pokemon Go because of it. Because I felt like every time I wanted to play it, I had to spend 20 minutes just farming Pokeballs to spend whenever I played that session. And I didn't want to play a game that I had to do fucking 20 minutes of setup to actually play the fucking game. Frankly, in my opinion, you should just have unlimited Pokeballs. You shouldn't lock out a corner of the game like that. But they want to lock you out of the game because they want you to pay real money for the Pokeballs. So, which just feels fucking scummy and shitty. Another thing that they did was they changed the encryption on the game. So websites like, what was it, PokeHunter and PokeVision?
Yep.
Those sites that had like a Google Map overlay and showed you where all Pokemon were in a huge range, making it easier and more reasonable to find rare shit. They denied access to that stuff, which when you combine it with the removal of the 3-step makes finding Pokemon that aren't fucking Pidgey and Zubat right now really kind of shitty.
Correct.
I've seen tons of people super pissed off at Nintendo, including guides being posted all over the place. If whether you use an Android product and Google Wallet or whatever it's called, or Apple and their Apple Wallet or whatever it's called, ways to do chargebacks on those. you would probably get banned from Pokemon Go. But even if you spent it on in-app purchases already, you'd be able to get all your money back since the game launched. And people have been like reposting that shit everywhere. People have been saying that I'm going to get my money back. This is bullshit. And I think a lot of this stems from the fact that Niantic is not doing a good job communicating with their fans.
So, have there been mass refunds having something to do with these third-party sites being shut down? So that's kind of what I was gathering. Or is that just not related at all?
August 1st, which was Monday, Niantic finally did, a week or two later, finally did post about these things. In regards to the third-party websites, they say, we have limited access by third-party services which were interfering with our ability to maintain quality of service for our users and to bring Pokemon Go to users around the world. The large number of users has made the rollout of Pokemon Go around the world an interesting challenge. And we aren't done yet. Yes, Brazil, we want you to bring you the game too. They kind of implied that maybe it was causing service issues, but they didn't directly say that. They kind of implied that maybe it was cheating, but they didn't directly say that. They just said that they disallowed those websites to access Pokemon Go. In a similar fashion, in regards to 3-steps, they say, we have removed the 3-step display in order to improve upon the underlying design. The original feature, although enjoyed by many, was also confusing and did not meet our underlying product goals. We will keep you posted as we strive to improve this feature. Which, in regards to that, my thing is like, okay, why don't you just fucking leave that in until you had your new feature ready? Because what you have now is undeniably worse than what you had before. And just saying it was confusing when you could just go online and get other people to tell you how to do it is kind of bullshit. And I find it really interesting, too, because, what was it, like a month ago when Pokemon Go first came out? Like, the hype for this game was unparalleled. I expected a crash. I did not expect a crash this soon, and I didn't expect Niantic to basically act like a bunch of shitheads about it.
Yeah, I saw this coming too. I just didn't think it would be happening this fast into its lifespan.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I expected Pokemon Go to die with a quiet whimper instead of a angry mob like this.
I don't think it's gonna die. They're gonna lose a chunk of their audience, but I think it's mostly people like me who've kind of had their go with this game. For my case, I've already caught so many Pokemon that it's very much like a Pidgey Rattata catching simulator at this point.
Right.
I'm just grinding to make my level go up. I'm just hoarding shit for the sake of doing it. I'm not really enjoying it anymore. I don't even really pull my phone out and play it when I'm walking around that often. I still would like to complete the Pokedex, but like I can't speak for all the refunding shit and stuff because I haven't been spending money on this game and I have no intention to. As for them shutting down the third-party apps, to anyone like me who's just playing it just to collect Pokemon, these apps don't interfere with anyone else's play style. I don't even use them, but if someone I knew was using them to catch Pokemon easier, it wouldn't stop me from playing the game without them. I would still be getting the same experience. It doesn't interfere with me at all. The only way these third-party apps could potentially be damaging to the actual game's ecosystem, if you want to call that, player base, whatever, is the fact that people can grind certain Pokemon easier to take down gyms more quickly, which, you know, is damaging to the competitive aspect of it, but who the fuck gives a shit about that? I mean, well, I'm sure people do, but what the fuck is wrong with you is what I'm asking. Pokemon Go isn't a fucking esport, so I don't think it needs this kind of moderation.
Yeah, personally, I was excited to use things like Pokehunter and Pokevision because that's the aspect of the game I enjoy, is the hunting. But at the moment, especially with the removal of the step system, it feels so fucking unrewarding to look for Pokemon. And with the supposed increase in Pokemon escape rate and how much harder they are to catch, it feels even less rewarding. I've had a couple of times where a Pokemon I really wanted would just fucking escape after the first Pokeball throw, or I just take so many fucking, 30 fucking Pokeballs to catch a goddamn Pidgey. Just ridiculous shit like that. It's to the point where it's like, this game is just a practice of frustration. I'm no longer having fun, so I'm going to quit, which is, yeah.
It seemed like, I was reading a lot of people were using these apps because they were just so fed up with how poor the tracking thing works in the game. So they should have taken that people are bothering to use third-party applications to turn off their phone and look at something else just to continue to play our game. Maybe we should fix that within the game instead of just removing people's option to do that. Offer an alternative or a better solution within the game, even if it was just something like the phone will vibrate when you're walking in the correct direction towards a Pokemon or something like that. Just subtle things like that they could have done to just make the game, just give it a little more direction, give people something to do other than just walk around like a headless chicken hoping to get lucky. It's a very Nintendo thing to do, to just pull the plug on this. I I said that in a comment somewhere, and someone responded and said Nintendo didn't pull the plug on this. They didn't make the game. Niantic did that. And I go, well, it's still being overseen by Nintendo, and Nintendo has policies, I'm sure, in regards to this shit. So even if Nintendo is expanding now onto mobile platforms and trying to broaden their horizons, they're still bringing these things with them that just fucking shit the whole thing up.
Yeah. As a person who was going to buy Pokemon Go plus the watch that was supposed to go with this, depending on the design of the watch and how it functioned, I'm no longer going to do this because I'm no longer going to play this fucking game. Unless it gets some update to make it what an update that would even just bring it back to how it was at launch would get me playing this again. But I really doubt that's going to happen.
They need to either have a very firm, concrete reason to do what they're doing and be very straightforward with it and be convincing, or they need to address these problems in the game. But other than that, like, they're just basically, they're snuffing out their own audience. They're not listening to what their fans want. They're just trying to bottleneck everybody.
Plus, a huge part of this, too, is when they do these updates that modify the features, they need to have an announcement coincide right along with it. Because when I was reading about the removal of all this stuff, people had all these cockamamie theories arguing with each other. Some people, valiantly defending the game. And it's kind of ridiculous that this is even a discussion in the first place. Nobody knows. The only people that know is Niantic. They shouldn't be keeping their mouth shut for like weeks at a time. Like, day of these updates, they need to be saying something. It is a shitty job on their part. And if they have the mentality of, oh, we're just game devs, we don't do it, this kind of stuff, then hire somebody to be in charge of your PR. Hire somebody to be in charge of your fucking social media websites and take care of this shit for you. This isn't just like a AAA game kind of thing where they can just release it and have it be done. When you have a mobile app that has consistent updates like this, you need to have an open communication with your audience, or you're just going to keep running into shit like this.
Yep.
And if they keep going down this path, I really expect this app to go down in flames.
On mobile, it will always be a monumental success. I don't think you're going to be losing too many people because of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, nothing will ever compare to what this game was, but I do think they will be bleeding people faster than they should have been. Like, they were always going to lose people. There's no way they could maintain their audience. But I expected a much slower decrease with, the occasional bumps when they did major updates, like expanding the Pokedex. If they keep going in this direction, I expect the quit rate to be a lot higher, though.
I'm fearing for Nintendo's future now, because they're going in a bad direction. They're going into a fuck you don't know what you want, we know what you want direction that everyone else seems to do with these kind of things. Oh well, I'm still playing Pokemon Go on occasion, I'm just not that into it, and if they keep... Like, I only noticed the Pokeball thing yesterday when it took me fucking like 8 attempts to catch a low-level Pidgey, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I've ran into that before. It's like CP17 Pidgey, and you don't get... That should be like a 1 Pokeball. Bullshit.
Well, it's still fun to catch new Pokemon, but...
It is! It's amazing, but I don't want to go through all the bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more story.
Okay.
For about 15 minutes, No Man's Sky was available on the PlayStation Network. A handful of people were able to download this game, and they've released videos of them playing it, streams, their opinions. Somebody has already made it to the center of the galaxy.
Yep.
I just want to say that I haven't seen hype for this game turn around so fast.
No.
Like,
oh, wait. It did? Seriously?
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, places like the No Man's Sky subreddit is basically on fire. Where people are... It's like a civil war.
Yeah, I was actually going there trying to find, like, I want to read... stuff, but everyone was all hush hush, spoiler. No one was giving any hard details, so everyone's losing their shit now, huh?
Oh yeah, people are really upset. I'm sure, I know for a fact that we've talked about this before in the past, where the developers have said that 90% of the planets will be completely barren.
Yep.
Not true. Every single planet has life on it.
I actually read that, yeah.
Even if it's just as simple as a planet full of prairie dogs and nothing else.
Yeah, well, what I guess I took from that was that 90% of planets won't have much life on it.
I honestly think that's kind of dumb. That it should have been what they said, where 90% of planets are completely barren. That way, when you do find life, it's exciting, but... Whatever. Okay.
I was disappointed because I don't think anyone has come out and said it, because the only guy who made it to the center of the galaxy, apparently he's like, I don't want to ruin it for everyone. What it sounds like the center of the galaxy is what I suspected, which is it's just a portal to another galaxy, which I think is incredibly stupid.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are expecting that.
I was hoping it would be at the very least, a portal that shoots you back out into the same galaxy, but why you want to be stuck in another galaxy, it just... I mean, I figure once I get there, I just turn around and start exploring the same galaxy and hope I run into someone or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I'd hang out towards the center of the galaxy and try and run into people. Another really big one is they were saying like it would take you 100 hours, I think it was, to get to the center of the galaxy. The guy who did it, he said he did it in 30, but it's completely possible to do it in 12 due to
an exploit.
Not an exploit. It's a design choice, he said. There's a specific item in every solar system that just sells for a shit ton.
Yeah.
And every solar system has it, and it's in a very specific place in every single one. Like, it's put there on purpose. It has lore implications why it'd be that valuable. He just says he thinks it's worth way too much.
Yeah. I read about that. The most expensive ore is like 30,000 something, but this thing that you can find every solar system is like 275, 100,000 or something.
Yeah, it's like 700,000, like way the fuck more.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and the other thing this is the one that actually like kind of disappoints me a little bit is the flying, the spaceship flying is really, really simple in this game.
That surprises you? Or did you say it doesn't surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I wish it wasn't true, but it doesn't surprise me. But
no, it's it's a console game. Of course, it's going to be.
It's a little more. I was hoping it'd be a little bit more on the sim. I mean, not like a straight up sim, but like from my understanding, there's no atmosphere when you enter. Like you don't have to worry about overheating. You don't have to worry about crash landing. The game doesn't let you crash. Like you cannot fly into the sides of mountains. You cannot crash yourself into water. Mm-hmm. So it like holds your hands in that regard, and it just seems really.
Yeah, I expected all that. This game would be taking several more years if they were actually going to make a, honest to God, good flight sim.
Yeah, but I wasn't even expecting flight sim. I was just expecting something that.
Yeah, arcadey, but still like
like arcadey, but still let it feel like fucking space.
Well, even the demos they've showed, it looks incredibly simple and not too awesome. What looks even worse to me is the on-ground stuff. Like, all the things I've seen of the guy walking around the ground, it just looks incredibly fucking dull. And I don't know how, like, every time you attack an animal on a planet or something, basically the space police show up and try to stop you every time. So it almost, like, stops you from trying to have fun.
Yeah, right. It is interesting, though, because people are fucking arguing with each other. They're quoting the lead on this and saying, you know, like, this is what he said and this is what we're getting. And I knew that this was going to happen. I just didn't expect it to happen before.
Everyone with a fucking brain did. You know what's funny is despite all this, I'm still expecting to pick it up next week and have a good time with it and go, yeah, actually, this is even better than I thought.
Yeah, exactly. And you know why? It's because what these people have said is what I expected to get out of the game, which was a space exploration game. And that's what it is, and that's what it will continue to be. It is a space planet exploration game. And if you don't want to just wander around on planets and look at weird shit, then you're going to be disappointed. And that's kind of why I was just hoping the spaceflight would be better, because I think spaceflight directly ties into the fact that it's a space exploration game, but whatever.
I mean, what was unveiled about that thing that you can sell for an ungodly amount of money is what I'm worried is going to kill the game for me, because that's my objective, is to get to the center of the galaxy. I'm hoping it's not going to just come down to this repetitive routine where every time I go to a solar system, I know exactly what I have to do, and I just do that, and it's just like a matter of time until I do it and then move on. If there's no excitement or joy, if there's like no reason to actually explore the planets that you find instead of looking for whatever the fuck this thing is that you're looking for, if there's no joy in doing that, then why the fuck is it even in the game?
Yeah, the thing that I kind of ran into too is something similar to that, where it was like, I was expecting that the flight to the center of the universe, you have this line, this more or less this straight line that you'd go on, but on your travels you'd run into problems you'd have to fix. Like you'd be forced to make crash landings, so you'd have to repair your ship. You know, things that would delay you and make your journey an actual journey. But it just sounds like what you said, where every solar system is going to play out more or less the same. And you might see different stuff each way, but it's going to play out the same each time.
Oh, God. Now you got me really imagining how they could have basically made Star Trek Voyager into this game. Basically, like, you go to solar system, there's a wormhole here that will get you halfway to your destination. Oh, wait, no, this enemy ship showed up. Now we have a moral dilemma. What do we do? Do we save these people? Do we go home? I mean, whatever the fuck. I mean,
that's more
here
or
we
less
go. Here's what this game could have been and what people are hyping up to be, but we know it's not going to be.
That's more or less what I was expecting. So in that regard, I am a little bit disappointed. But at the same, because I was honestly expecting shit like you get to this new solar system and the space station, which they confirmed they're space stations, and that there's going to be intelligent life. Cool. I was expecting to go there and have like, oh, you're stuck in a tractor beam, you now have to build relations with this faction or something to have them release you. You know, just like different problems constantly cropping up that I'd have to solve. And no, I've also heard the AI for the space stations and Intelligent Life is really bad. So,
yeah, well, I expect every system in this game to be very simple and bare.
Yeah.
They're going for quantity over quality. They always have been, and that's what kind of game I expect
very bare is incredibly factual. I was expecting like the ship building aspect to be at least somewhat deep, and no, it's not. It's your ship is completely cosmetic.
Yeah.
Like you'd expect one ship to be better at, being a fighter, one ship to be better at trading. That's not the case.
Well, considering that Sean Murray this entire time has been saying, I don't want to tell anyone too much because I don't want to ruin the surprise. No, it's all about the surprise. No, I want to keep it vague. So everyone's thinking, oh, it's going to be something amazing. It has to be, or it's just not going to be that interesting, and he's just trying to make it sound like it will be. So good job.
Yeah, I would definitely say part of this problem is the hype kind of got out of control, but the other part of the problem is definitely the devs were purposely misleading and vague on certain shit.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing.
They're going to make so much money on this game that they're probably set for life, but I don't think anyone's ever going to trust them again if this turns out to be what I think we think it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Despite all this, I think it's still going to have some value as a game. It's going to be fun, but the marketing behind it has completely ruined the trust between the idiots who actually believe them in them. You would think.
Right.
Who knows? They'll announce No Man's Sky 2 a couple years from now, and then they'll be like, no, we're going to make it even better, but we're not going to tell you how. And everyone will go, oh my God.
You're 100% right.
Yeah. Well, here it is. This is the last chance we're ever going to get to speculate on No Man's Sky because it comes out in like 4 days or 1 week.
I'm planning on getting it.
Yeah, I decided I'm going to get it on PS4 with you guys because I was like, holy shit, I have an opportunity to actually use this device I never use, and sitting on my couch just playing this game every day might be fun for a while.
Yeah, exactly. I've actually, for once, this feels like most of the time I'm like PC all the way. Why would I get a game on console when I can get it on PC? This definitely seems like a game that's perfect to play on console because it's the perfect sit on your couch, lay in your bed, have people watch you play and just goof around and do nothing important.
And see, I normally get it on PC because I can play it on whatever monitor I want to hook it up to, but I realize there's a feature on the PS4 I've never used and would have a good reason to use with this game, which is you can stream it to your smartphone if you have the exact sort of device that I have to plug a DualShock in with my phone. So I could actually lay in bed and play this game.
Nice.
Remotely. So I'm actually really interested to try that out and see how that works. And I think this is the perfect kind of game to do that with. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to watching everyone cry when it turns out to be what we knew it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And enjoying it despite that. I'll see you at the center of the galaxy.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah, we can totally arrange a meetup there.
Yeah, I mean
we won't earlier, but just be like.
I was kind of hoping the center of the galaxy would be some sort of PvP arena or something. It would be something that actually involves all the players who got there doing something together, or like some sort of like raid or some sort of giant boss everyone works together to fight or something cool like that.
That's what I was thinking, is that would be some kind of,
well,
not necessarily a giant boss, but I was thinking it'd be like a big like Stargate kind of lock. And then every time like 100 people make it or something, like another one of the keys unlock and you get like a little bit more lore or something. And then when the last thing's unlocked, it's this big wide event where all of a sudden it opens up this portal and this invading species comes in or something crazy like that. And then everybody has to work together to like, and the species like expands outward from the center of the universe and it just completely changes the game. But I knew it wasn't going to be that, but my brain came up with that idea of like, that'd be so badass. I know it's not going to happen, but it'd be awesome.
Well, we'll have to continue to dream.
Yep.
I feel really bad for those people who think this is going to be the last game they're ever going to have to buy.
What's funny is, oh god, I can't believe, yeah, I've read people say shit like that. Seriously. I will say, though, that depending on how this game goes, it might just encourage me to get something like Elite Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous is a totally different kind of beast from the sound of it, but I feel like once I have been done with No Man's Sky, I'm going to jump onto that. Because what I've been told about Elite Dangerous is it's basically Euro Truck Simulator in space. But if you come to it knowing you're just going to sit down, relax, and you're basically going to be hauling some cargo from one place to another, and you might get into a misadventure along the way, that's exactly what that game is. So,
well, and that's kind of what I'd want, is something to play that would be a little bit more like a flight simulator.
Yeah.
And more about the flight aspect of space, which seems to be what Elite Dangerous is about, to my limited knowledge of it. So
yeah, cool. Well, next week is going to be No Man's Sky, the podcast, it seems like.
Yep. I expect us to have the opinion of, it's all right, I like it, fairly positive. Not amazing, but whatever. I'm
going to have to stay off of forums, not because I'm worried about spoilers, but because once people start autistically breaking it down for all of its flaws, I'm not going to be able to enjoy it. So I want to fool myself.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's already begun to happen when I started reading the spoilers for No Man's Sky. I'm like, okay, yep, here's all the things I was worried about, but I'm still going to get the game and just see it for what it's worth.
Yeah, plus I don't want people, like, already that, the big key item on every... Just knowing that exists already kind of taints the game a little bit for me, sadly,
Yeah.
but...
Yeah.
I did stay away from trying to figure out what's in the center of the galaxy early, because I want to figure that out on my own.
Yeah, it's like I said, I don't think it has been 100% confirmed. It's just like 98% leaning towards what I said at the beginning of this. I still hope it's not that, but I feel like it's probably going to be. Because I'm just wondering, if that is that, what happens? You get to the center of the galaxy, and then you have no jurisdiction of what galaxy it slingshots you into, and then what? Everyone who gets there just goes off into some new galaxy, and then they have an entire galaxy all to themselves. And then it's like, what, I could just do this over and over again, going to new galaxies, repeating the same fucking behavior? No, I'm good. But
yeah, that's already my biggest concern about the game.
it might be cool if we met up in the center, and then we do get to like pick a direction and be like, hey, Andrew, let's go explore this galaxy together, and like, I don't know, like, yeah, turn it into a joint thing. I'm sure every single thing we can possibly imagine about what this game could be, it won't be, and we're just setting ourselves up for more reasons to dislike it. So we should probably stop. But,
What I heard, and what I'm really hoping, is at the center of the universe, there's a giant cat girl orgy that you can help take part in.
Oh yeah, maybe mods. I mean, if you can play single player, people can maybe someone will take this game, and mods will fix it, guys. Mods will fix it.
Actually, seems like the perfect game to have mod support.
Yeah.
So that'd be awesome.
It can't have too great a mod support if it's all going to be one giant universe connected, but in a single player game, yes. For a team as small as the one behind this game, there's no way they could have made this all game that everyone would have expected, but we've already beat that reality into the ground. So now all the puppies who believed otherwise are going to be woken up and be very disappointed.
What's funny, too, is a lot of people are in complete denial about this is what the game is, thinking that there's going to be like a day one patch and they'll fix absolutely everything.
You remember when I said in like episode 22, I'm like, there's going to be denial until like the end of the year, and then by like next year, this time, that's going to be when everyone has just moved on and realized, No Man's Sky was not a big deal. And yeah, but people are going to try to believe otherwise for as long as they can until they just can't fool themselves anymore.
Buyer remorse will be out in spades, so...
Yep, but I'm still hyped to play it a lot more than I thought it would be. I've actually been thinking about it all week.
Nice.
I've been thinking about Deus Ex 2. We get
but that game, I am legitimately... Like, No Man's Sky, I'm like, I'm looking forward to it. Deus Ex, I'm like, I want this. I need this. I want to... Wait, what?
You actually just cut out on whatever you said. Maybe it's for the best. If No Man's Sky is a total piece of shit, then I'm got higher hope for Deus Ex anyway. That's going to be a good time. The one thing I really didn't like about Human Revolution was how it all ended. So if Mankind Divided is the same exact game, but it just has a stronger ending, or the ending reflects based on prior decisions you made throughout the game, I'll be really happy.
Yeah, I really didn't care for spoilers for like a whatever-year-old game. I didn't like the whole... You made it to the end of the game, push one of these 3 buttons to get your cutscene.
Yeah.
That's not even a fucking cutscene. It's like still images with text overlaid.
Yeah, with basically Adam Jensen telling you why you chose what you chose.
Right. And it was funny, it's like the text and like the meaning behind the choices was good. They just need to be fleshed out more, with more build up to the endings, and the endings themselves fleshed out a little bit more. I know they would have been great.
Yeah, they were just trying to make it so that whatever ending you chose, it didn't feel like the game was scolding you for making a choice. I really respect that. I mean, this could just turn it into an entire another discussion that we should probably just save for another podcast. But you feel like the subject matter and sort of the politics handled in Deus Ex Human Revolution was well done?
I'm white, so my opinion on this doesn't matter.
That's right. But I guess I'll speak into a black hole where nobody cares about my opinion. I thought it was pretty well done.
I thought it was great. Just straight up, like, there is a lot of... From Adam's own denial and acceptance of what he was becoming to David Seraph and just how much of a visionary he was, the slow realization that Adam's girlfriend was not a victim and instead a perpetrator in the horrible crimes in Adam's life, the way that the poor were seen, the difference of views between America and Hong Kong. It was really fucking good and engrossing, and it drew me into the game in a very believable way. Reminded me a lot of when I played the original Deus Ex.
Yeah. And it tried its hardest to not pick a side and just let you decide. So
to let you experience it.
And I hope Mankind Divided continues that. If they do, that's probably why people are currently raging on Twitter about it. So I'm ready. Give it to me. Please.
Yeah, people are upset that it's not just going to be an echo chamber for their own goddamn opinions. But yeah, I think what you said too, like, is a key point to it, where it didn't try to wag their finger or parade any one side, where it let them just be like, this is what it is.
Yep.
I mean, even though Adam's girlfriend treated him like she was a complete bitch to him, she still had a point to her benefit of, I'm forwarding the progress of mankind. So
I think Mankind Divided will be an interesting audio feature. Yep. I assume we're going to be doing one for that.
Oh, fuck yeah.
All right.
I think we're both getting it on release, so...
Yeah, I hope the PC port is good. The only way I can see myself not getting this game is if it just runs like garbage. Deus Ex started on PC, so fucking get the PC port right, please. Let me rephrase that. Deus Ex is a PC game, so do not fuck up the PC port, please.
Yeah, right. Especially in this day and age, design the shit for the PC and then port to the consoles. The consoles are just weaker PCs anyway, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, you got any more news stories, or I think...
No, we should definitely wrap it up.
All right, cool beans. Hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, thank you sincerely for listening. Hey, Ryan, where can they find our sad, lonely podcast?
You can subscribe, stream, or download our podcast via the RSS feed on www.explosionofhappiness.com. You can also find the podcast on iTunes or stream our content on YouTube under the channel Explosion of Happiness. If you have a Twitter account, you can follow my personal Twitter, Ground Tank, where I'll be forwarding all of our uploads to as well. And I think that'll be that. Thank you for listening, and God bless America.
And watch out for the Chinese Communist Party. They're around every corner. Be ever vigilant. The Illuminati is watching. Until next week, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Ryan.
Yes, Andrew.
What do you think is at the center of the universe in No Man's Sky?
A giant middle finger. A giant dildo.
I think it's just the two biggest, softest, most perfect round pair of tits, and then you get to like land your ship like right in between them, and you can climb up, and they're like all soft, and you can like sink into the supple flesh, and just writhe around on the... Wait, what were we talking about?
See you at the center.
That might have been a little too creepy.
That's totally our thing. And I honestly, when I first heard him talk about the center of the galaxy, I was just thinking if I was a developer, it would totally just be a gigantic planet-sized statue of a middle finger. Because that's the only... Like, there's no way I could live up to anyone's expectations, so just make it funny is what I would do.
In Final Fantasy XI, for the longest time, the best fishing pole in the game, you got it by catching 100,000 or 10,000 of, like, a really low-level fish.
Okay.
It was just a massive fucking grind, and you would turn it into these quest NPCs.
Okay.
And then they would fucking chastise you. And they'd give you this piece of paper that said that you had no good use for your time. That's what it should be in No Man's Sky. You fly to the center of the universe, and there's just like this giant neon sign that says, "Congratulations on all the time you wasted playing this piece of shit."
I would laugh.
Oh my god. By the way, I listened to our StarCraft feature today.
Yeah.
The first half was kind of shitty and really rambly, and I think we sobered up partway through because all of a sudden we got way more on point for like the second half of it. So we finished strong, but we started out kind of weak.
You thought it was shitty? I thought we were just conversing. Like, I mean, we just finished the game and was going.
I feel like I rambled a little too much, but that's just me. Me specifically, I rambled too much.
It was sort of the same thing with when you talked about Heart of the Swarm, though.
Yeah.
Whatever. If we have fans who actually listen to this, they can let us know. We do have a fan. Hello, Nate. I don't know if you listened to our audio feature. You can let us know if Andrew was being rambly or if I was being a dick.
Both? Why not?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Ryan.
Yes, Andrew.
Did you beat Super Metroid?
Working on it.
You're still a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.